Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen Insider, looking at some updates we're going to have for the next major Star Citizen Persistent Universe patch, Alpha 3.7, coming at the end of September 2019, in a bit more detail, looking at hover mode, personal inventories, and the Vanguard variants. Hover mode is gone, long live proximity assist. Changes and hopefully improvements to hover mode are coming in Alpha 3.7. The helicopter aspect of hover mode has been removed, which is pretty much hover mode. It wasn't intuitive enough for what they wanted. Now, the closer you are to the ground, the slower you will move, basically automatically. The system dynamically adjusts your accelerations to be more believable and slow your ship down when in atmosphere and closer to the ground. The goal of this change is to have ships move slower and more precisely rather than jerky and erratic when you're trying to land or fly very close to terrain. You can turn it off though, and that's something you certainly can do. It will be a toggle. They are experimenting with having thrusters with reduced efficiency in atmosphere as well. Obviously, there'll be some sort of fuel cost here while being in atmosphere. They hope that this will solve issues that hover mode had by going down this slightly different route. So for me, on paper, this sounds exactly like what I wanted from hover mode in the first place. Again, on paper. Don't know exactly what it's going to be like until it's in my hands. I don't want the flight mechanics when I'm close to ground or when I'm landing to be overly fiddly or erratic. I want to be able to land and control my ship easily. I also don't want ships to entirely dominate planets and moons. If they're sort of like strafing around ground installations or whatever, I want them to have to slow down. I don't want a single fighter to turn up and just go, GG, outpost scrubs, this is mine now. Admittedly, it does sound like, yeah, you could probably still very quickly speed strafe past an installation and shoot at it, but you'd be incredibly inaccurate, zoom then gone. I just don't want to have the situation where a ship turns up and it's just GG. The other thing that hover mode made difficult was landing in hangars on planets that were a similar size to that of your ship, not the planet, the hangar. When trying to land in these without a holographic view and not knowing exactly where your the full dimensions of your ship were, because you could, if you learnt the size of your ship well enough, you could probably land pretty accurately every time, but that would take a reasonable amount of effort in a computer game. And that said, without a holographic view, without constantly using third person and knowing where your ship is perfectly compared to the ground, it was just more fiddly than it needed to be with the old system. In atmosphere, I want ships to have weight. I'd like VTOL thrusters and the mass of a ship to be important when in atmosphere. I want atmospheric combat to be more dangerous than in space, and ships not to just entirely super dominate planets and moons. And I don't want ships to feel like they're in space when in atmosphere. I don't want them to just be super floaty. Star Citizen cannot have the most basic type of operations of a ship require too much skill. Yes, have a great skill ceiling for combat and maneuvers and systems management. Yeah, people can keep on improving it and you can have genuinely great pilots. But the skill floor for landing and traversing terrain and just moving around in a ship, that needs to be in a position where new pilots can just come along and get involved and just land and just understand the pretty simple operations, basic mechanics, all that sort of stuff. That is very much my opinion. You are entitled to disagree, though I hope you will not. And if you do disagree, or even if you agree, whatever, chuck it in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. The personal commodity system, coming with patch Alpha 3.7, is the first stage and light version of a full physicalized inventory system. The full system will have you having to store all of your items, weapons, and gear in appropriate areas. You'll have attachment points on your armor, you'll potentially have backpacks, you'll have weapons racks and that sort of stuff, but you don't have a magic bag of holding with everything in it. The personal commodity inventory system that's coming in 3.7, however, specifically focuses on FPS minables, harvestables, and commodities. Players are going to be able to collect, mine, and harvest items in FPS from a planet or location, and then return to their ship and unload their personal commodity inventory into their ship's cargo grid or storage there. At this stage, players will interact with their inventory by going into their personal inner thought and clicking a pip that appears there, so like holding F, clicking on a pip. Though I suspect there will be a more elegant solution, as well as a hotkey for this in the future. From this menu, players will be able to drop individual items or store all current items in a cargo box, which is then placed at their feet. This cargo box can be moved and is detected by cargo grids so that you can sell those items at trade kiosks. It is unknown at the moment whether players will drop their personal commodity inventories when they are taken out or otherwise killed, because obviously that makes a good reason for people to loot each other. If I take someone's personal commodity inventory box that was on their ship, is that stolen cargo, or can I sell it freely? Later, they're going to expand the system to encompass all items, but the personal commodity inventory is the first step towards a full physicalized inventory system, and that will obviously be super important for looting and generally just holding stuff. It's a huge part that drives the economy and gameplay, having a physicalized inventory. But in the short term, yeah, it's going to be Harvest Central in Star Citizen. People are going to be running around trying to find rare commodities and minables. Alpha 3.7 is coming with FPS mining and that harvestable system, so people will be running around literally going loot, 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 loot. There might be some hotspots for that. It might be a lot of scanning and searching. It might be people having a look through caves and that sort of stuff, which are also in 3.7 too. CIG are experimenting with different paint schemes for the Vanguard, Harbinger, and Sentinel variants. The exterior of all the ships for the Vanguard range is pretty much the same now. They have a modular central room that will be changeable, and that basically makes them whatever variant they are. And in the future, you should be able to change those central modules out. But basically, all of the ships have different weapons loadouts, different gear loadouts, different system loadouts. The Sentinel has an E-War module in its central room. E-War or hacking, it was suggested. Currently, they are using temporary displays that should, in the future, change to be informative and diegetic. There is illuminated glass displays here as well, which were inspired by aircraft carriers IRL, apparently, because they have people sort of like drawing on these things. I suppose they're also inspired by modern crime and detective shows, which also draw loads on these sort of like glass panels. I want glass panels, actually, that I can draw on. I want to draw on them. I am very excited for more hacking, E-War, and InfoWar gameplay. Obviously, with 3.6, they added some very basic sort of like hacking type gameplay. It was more sort of like hacking themed than actual proper hacking. You could interact with some screens, use some little chips to hack either the comm arrays or security depots, but I want the ability to be able to spoof signatures. Spoofs. I don't even know what that word is. Please tell me in the comments what you think spoofs means. Is it a word? Who knows? It is now. I want to be able to confuse ships' targeting data and sensors, potentially send incorrect data to other ships and that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of cool stuff that you potentially could do with hacking and E-War. Very much looking forward to all that. The Harbinger has a torpedo room as its sort of like variant change, allowing you to monitor and see torpedoes as they launch. Now, I'm not sure what sort of like extra features that central room will have other than just, you know, allowing there to be torpedoes, lots of torpedoes on the ship. But they are working on a mechanism or a hatch for firing torpedoes so that you can see as much of the process of a torpedo being fired from the interior as possible, I think. There are 2 beds and a washroom and food prep areas on both of those variants. The Vanguards hold a special place in my heart, especially the Sentinel. Some cool gameplay there. But they are going to be adding some weapon customization options for the nose of the Vanguards in the future at some point. Hopefully the 3.7. We don't have confirmation of that, but it's going to be at some point. But what do you think? Are you happy with the changes they're making to the flight model? Are you excited by the personal commodity system? Do you think the Vanguards will be in a good place in Alpha 3.7 to make them competitive and fun? And potentially, do you think we'll get those nose weapons in 3.7 so that we can have different nose guns on our Vanguards? Or do you think we're going to be waiting a while longer for the Vanguard to be in a balanced place where it's super effective as a fighter? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For September 2019, it's for an Anvil Carrack, the mighty exploration ship. It is being donated by the organisation Ultra. They are a chaotic, neutral, multi-role org where they encourage their members to focus on their speciality and find their speciality, and they provide them the freedom to play however they want. In Ultra, you're not just another drone, you become part of a family is the idea. Links below to check them out. They are recruiting. To be in for a chance of winning that ship, just comment on any of my videos made during September though. A random comment will be chosen as the winner. More details below. I am also shilling for NordVPN and Shadow gaming PCs, so use the code BoredGamer for discounts there. NordVPN, in a world of censorship and privacy issues, VPNs allow you to browse the net and play games in more safety. NordVPN has many benefits over free VPNs, and that's why I shill for it. Some of you also might be interested in Shadow cloud gaming stuff. This allows you an alternative to sort of like buying and maintaining your own gaming PC. You can stream a custom Windows 10 environment to devices like your phone, a laptop, or a crappier, lesser PC, and bam, it's fantastically powerful, and it's maintained, and hardware is regularly updated for you. It's a fantastic service, Shadow. Cloud gaming certainly has quite a big future ahead of it. If you'd like to further support my channel, please consider subscribing, sharing this video, ringing the YouTube bell so you get notifications when a video goes live. This is a channel that is funded by the community via donations, Patreon members, YouTube members, and anyone else that wants to get involved with comments and helping. Thank you to everyone that goes the extra mile. Take care, and I will see you in the verse.